Hello and welcome back to How to Get Your Team to Do the Thing. I'm Berglund, the founder of The Language of Leadership, and in partnership with CNR Magazine and RTIlearning.com, this month we're going to talk to you about how to get your team to do the AI thing. Now, before you think this might be another talk about specific AI tools, it's not. That's not where I'm going with this at all. But what I do want to share with you is how to get your team to use AI responsibly, because there's a good likelihood that whether you've decided to lean into AI or not, members of your team are curious and or experimenting with different tools that could be used in your business. But there's some pitfalls and opportunities you really want to be aware of as you begin to get them to do the thing using AI. So that's where we're going to go in our conversation today. Now, there's currently 4 ways AI is really being used inside of companies. And yes, you can go find hundreds of tools that do these different things, but it really boils down to 4 specific things that business owners are using AI for. The first, and in my opinion, the most valuable application of AI today, is in data analysis. Simply put, big computers are way more capable of processing large amounts of data than we are as individuals. And that allows for us to be armed with better information in order to make better decisions as business owners and leaders. So, application number 1 of AI is around data assimilation and aggregation. One of the second ways that AI is being used today is to create new content. This is one of the riskier ones. If you ask ChatGPT to write you something, it will do so. Will it be accurate? Who knows? Will it sound like a really good writer? Probably not, unless you're very good at prompting. But creating content, including written content, video content, audio content, that's kind of the second application of AI today. And it's one that maybe has the biggest risk because the AI can hallucinate sources of information that aren't real, and it has that feel of being written too fluffy like an AI would. The third application for AI is automation. That's getting the AI to do things for you. And as particularly as AI agents came on board this year, there's a real opportunity for companies to automate things that before took a lot of button clicking or actions by an individual. This has a lot of risk as well because this is where jobs will effectively be lost. But it also has a lot of opportunity because you can be far more efficient, increase your margins and the quality of product that you deliver if you use automation. And the fourth application is one we're launching with a company called Speechcraft, and that's by using AI to help you level up the human-to-human soft skills that are very difficult to train. Using AI to enhance the capabilities of the individuals that are on your team as opposed to replacing them with creation or automation or assimilation. Those are the 4 applications of AI today. Let's dive a little bit into each of them. On the data analysis side, again, I think this is maybe today, June 24th of 2025. Today, I think this is one of the most powerful applications for AI because you can feed it a substantial amount of data that you could never analyze yourself and ask it to tell you some meaningful stories about your business. There's probably some correlation and causation relationships in your business, whether it's your NPS scores in your revenue, whether it's your retention rate, your cost of acquisition, your referral rates, right? There's a lot of data that you have that is interconnected in your business that we're just too close to it and don't have a big enough brain to be able to see as leaders and business owners. So the potential for you to use something as simple as ChatGPT or Gemini and say, here's this large amount of data, what should I infer from this, is something you could never do before. Whether it's financial data, marketing data, performance data, the opportunity to take a meaningful summary away from combining that data in a unique way is in front of you right now. What do you have to be careful of? Well, you have to be careful of that you lose intimate familiarity with the data as soon as you stop using it yourself, right? If you've ever sat down and built a forecast for your business or really analyzed some sort of performance, you become intimately familiar with how that data works and what stories it's telling. But if you just skip to the end, you lose that intimate connection with it. And so what we've seen is companies who have their people armed with AI that are analyzing large amounts of data using that tool, their people may not understand some of the stories that are being told by that data. You may not recognize that the reason your NPS score is coming down is because of one specific project manager or team. It all just may get aggregated out to an average that you may find satisfactory or unsatisfactory, but without looking at the data yourself, you could lose that context that it's really 1 or 2 bad apples that are causing the problem, missing training that could be causing it. So while it's incredibly powerful to have ChatGPT or some tool analyze your data, you can't lose touch with the nature of the story that's being told in the process. And you really have to be cautious if you're arming your team with AI that they're not doing that as well, because you can leap to the wrong conclusions if you're using these tools incorrectly right now. If you're having your team use AI to create, this is the second application we talked about. If you're using it to create content, ads, video, feedback, anything along those lines, be cautious of not only the quality, but the accuracy of what's being created. There are plenty of examples of courtroom briefs that were written by lawyers who used ChatGPT to write them, being handed to a judge, and the judge says, the precedent you're citing in here literally doesn't exist. It's completely made up. Who wrote this? And the lawyer sheepishly has to admit that ChatGPT wrote it. If you're using AI to create, be very cautious because you cannot rely on it for accuracy. It may do a wonderful job of taking your information and creating something with it, and it may do a good job of creating a video with your prompting or description, but be cautious about the accuracy of what you're putting in there. You can't rely on it to feed you the truth. Additionally, currently things that are written by AI feel like they were written by AI. You've seen it. If you've seen LinkedIn or Facebook or any platform, you're seeing a lot of fluffy things being created today with too many words and not enough heart. And that's probably written by AI. It feels like an immature writer that wrote it. And so be cautious. If your team is saying, hey, we're going to develop our social profile and our social presence with AI, that's a powerful thing and it can serve you well, but be careful that everything you're creating doesn't look and feel inauthentic and that it's actually being accurate if it's sharing anything like a stat or data point or reference. The third opportunity for automation is really powerful. Whether you're using simple tools like Zapier to make data point connections, which isn't AI powered, or if you're actually having AI act as an agent for you to go out and push buttons and do things, this is a really powerful way for you to increase your margins in your efficiency and the quality of your product. But be careful because you cannot automate what you have not already done. If you're relying on ChatGPT or something to create the process for you, that may work, but if you haven't tested it manually, you'll probably be at risk if you try to automate it using an agent or some third-party tool. If you've nailed the process and you can find an easy way to turn these tools into an automation, do it. But if you haven't spent the time and effort to really figure out the process yourself, you're probably going to skip some steps that'll be really meaningful that you would have discovered had you done it manually a handful of times before automating. And you really need to be cautious if your team members are feeling like it's a cheat code. We're seeing a lot of team members who feel like the creation and automation capabilities of AI are cheat codes and they let them do 80% of their job in 20% of the time, which is just fine. We're okay with labor savings and efficiency so long as the quality maintains and we don't lose sight of the process along the way. Just be cautious in your QA/QC work there. And if you're using AI for AI roleplay, again, we're launching a company that does that. Be cautious that the things that people are practicing are actually the best practices in your industry, and that performing well, practicing with the AI actually translates well down into real life performance. It's very possible for somebody to create an AI that doesn't represent your normal situation in your industry, or that doesn't give accurate feedback to the best practices that you want your people to align behind, and therefore doesn't translate to real world performance. This would be the equivalent of somebody going out and getting a marketing degree, but never really understanding how they need to tailor that marketing to your specific industry, because in the restoration world, it's very different than it would be in, say, a CPG company. The potential for people to level up dramatically using AI is very real. And if you use that, you will accelerate your business's performance, but only if the things your people are practicing are actually going to help them perform better in the workplace. Those are the 4 ways AI is being used today. Yes, there's a million technological applications to it, but if you just keep those 4 in mind, which one of those has the most potential for you? And which one of those are you bumping into the biggest risks in? It'd be interesting for you to take stock of that, assess, and let us know. We'd love the feedback. Thanks for joining again for this month's episode of How to Get Your Team to Do the Thing. This has been how to be thoughtful about how they do the AI thing. And again, I'm Eric Berglund with the Language of Leadership, and thanks to CNR Magazine and RTIlearning.com. I'll see you next month as well. Take care.